I just started recording if that's okay, just so other people can see the cool tour also.
Dining room areas, they pretty spaced. Oh no, yeah. Lead down to the basement and then to upstairs. We got the first bedroom, kind of small. Got the second one. This one a little bit bigger.
Is this still the first unit?
Yeah, this still the first unit. Yep. Then we got the bathroom. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Got a lot of promise. This is the hallway between the units.
No.
So still the first unit.
Yeah, this still the first unit. So when you come in, yeah. So this the second unit. Sits directly across the hall from there, and then you go up, and then you get to the other two units up there. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Oh, it looks like much better shape. Well, slightly better shape.
Yeah, well, actually, no, I think actually this side of the building. I think it was like a whole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Your reception's a little jumpy, Damien. Maybe it's because there's metal on the walls or something.
Yeah, I only got one bar. I don't know.
It's still good. I mean, we should still keep going. It's just sometimes we might ask you to
see something. Good. Okay. Yeah, so like directly up here, it's where the water coming in.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the worst part of the whole building. It ain't no water damage nowhere else.
And that's the top floor?
No, we still downstairs.
On the ground floor. Okay.
Yeah, we still downstairs.
Were you able to get inside the
building? I'll take you
before you purchased it?
Well, this actually my brother Kyle, he actually grew up like a few houses down from here. Oh. So like we familiar with this neighborhood, this building. Like, nice. You know, he grew up over here and I was with him a lot of the time. So we familiar with it a lot.
Yeah, it's in Highland Park, right? It's about 11-minute drive from.
That's in Detroit, right?
It's in Detroit, but
it's still Detroit.
Yeah, it's still Detroit. I think Highland Park is like on the other side of the street.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of them type of deals.
Yeah, so I love that neighborhood. The Palmer Park area is super nice. I like riding my bike up there.
So this is like directly where the water coming from. That's making its way all the way downstairs.
Oh wow! So it's been like that for a while, like maybe
for years.
Okay,
it's been like that for years.
Well, I'm surprised it's still standing then.
I would say it's been like that for about at least like 10 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is the roof fixed? Yeah, it looks like nothing's dripping down now. Did the roof get fixed or something get put
on? No, I'll take you on look there to go look and see where exactly where it's.
Yeah, all the units look pretty identical, just like mirror images, like very same layout.
They pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're each 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom each.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same layout as like like the most typical 2-family, right? Each unit's like a similar to layout as like the 2-family places all around it, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I don't know the 2-family layout, but this is a quadplex.
Yeah, it's like two families stuck together, it seems like to me.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, essentially, yeah, you could say that. All right, now we're in the attic. I'm gonna show you all where the water coming in.
Oh, it's a chimney.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, yeah. Big Okay, well
Not
that's
too bad
that's
though.
a
It
big
seems
hole.
like overall the roof's not terrible though, huh?
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's just really just this half of the roof. The rest of it is, I think, was redone at some point. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but it was redone at some point.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty spacious up here.
Yeah, I mean it's across two of our houses, and
Yeah,
the decking might be okay. It's just like the slats and the soffits down at the edge are like totally destroyed. But
right. Yeah, I think like the soffits over here is like how they are on Northwestern.
yeah,
Yeah. Actually, I think we got another hole right here too.
Oh yeah. Some plastic over there.
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like squatters tried to make it livable.
Right.
That
So
helps,
I
huh?
mean, this would probably be like the worst of the worst. But everything else pretty solid.
So you don't have the house yet. You just entered because someone told me that you're legally allowed to enter abandoned houses. I'm not sure if that was true, but it was Chris the plumber. When he said it, I didn't believe him. I didn't follow him into the house, but he like just went into an auction house, and he said that if it's not locked or barred off, then anyone can enter.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think it's legal. I think that nobody really cares, so I don't think the police gonna say nothing. But no, I actually own this. I got I talked to the land bank and everything. The way I did it was through the proposal because they never listed it for sale. So
Okay. Well,
I did it through
congrats.
the yeah, and I guess that was a good experience I had with the land bank. Finally. But yeah, I think it's still. I'm pretty sure it's not legal to just enter buildings, but nobody cares. It's not like somebody gonna pull up and arrest you or nothing like that. So,
With the
other than
cleanout. Oh, sorry.
what was that?
Oh, I was curious with the like. It looks like you just threw all the stuff out there in the clean out. Is the city cool with that? They just pick up that stuff in bulk day.
If you pay for it, if you can, like they service where they come and pick it up for a fee.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't know that, but if you pay for the for them to come and collect it, they will. So, and it's a lot cheaper than just getting the dumpster because I think this is probably like at least 2 40-yard dumpsters, maybe even more.
Oh, wow.
Probably 3. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff.
How much they charge for that pickup?
The way the city does it is they come take a look at it, and then they give you a price based off of. It's supposed to be based off of weight.
Oh,
I'm not sure how you can weigh this and see how much it weighs, but they come take a look and then they give you a price from there.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
Yeah, Damien, I know you have a hookup. Like you told me you had a friend, a guy that you know, that would come get like the debris from Greg's house for 150, and that was probably like 2 dumpsters worth at least there as well. So you have to know someone, right? You can't just call up a public number at the city and pay them the money and have them come out.
No, you can pay, you can call them and they can come. Or in that situation, the guy that lived across the street, he told me he knew a guy that worked for the city, so he just gave me his number. I already contacted him, and he said he don't know if he'd be able to get it. So worst come to worst, I could just call the city and actually just pay for the service. You know what I'm saying? But either way it go, like it'll be gone. It's not just gonna just sit here,
Yeah. Is this guy Pat, your neighbor across the street at Greg's house?
Yes. Yeah. I think that was his name, Pat. Yep.
Yeah, he's an older gentleman. Yeah.
Yep. Older guy. He actually got his house from the land bank as well. So.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. He told me he got it for $500 in 2011 or something. Yeah. He has a good story. I didn't get it all from him.
Oh yeah, you did talk to him the day you had came over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was parked out. I was on a video call, and I guess I looked suspicious, and he just like, he was really friendly. He just dropped by and say hi. And when I said I knew you, and he was, he was really interested. So he's.
Yep. I'm fortunate enough to, he was a good neighbor, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know how I would have got all that stuff up out of here. But yeah, he did a good thing for me. Yep. So, I mean, it's not nothing that's going to be like a quick, you know what I'm saying? This would be like a full rehab. It's going to take a lot of resources for it. But like I said, I think it'd be worth it. It's just so much potential. There's so many things that you could do with something like this. So I just thought maybe it'd be something that y'all would be interested in, but that's up to y'all.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely interested. And I'd be interested. And also I'm maybe Adrian is interested as well. I wrote a bunch of questions up and I pasted them into chat just to have an agenda for the meeting. And Adrian, feel free to jump in or add your own questions. But the primary question I have is sort of like what's the budget and what's it for? So at first I thought it was to close on the property, but it sounds like you already closed on it from the land bank. And so then the budget, I guess that's next, is the total rehab cost. So then what is the amount you're thinking of? And then also what is the timeline? At first I thought, do we have to move on this quickly before the land bank gives it to someone else? But if you've already closed on it, then I guess like what's the timeline for, it seems less urgent then, but also like in your mind, how many other houses are you working on? If you don't mind me asking, is sort of like, how does this fit in? Just because I know you sold me the house on Northwestern because it was, more houses than you could work on, which is understandable. There's a lot of houses. So my primary concern after the how much money will it take to rehab is how does this fit into your plan? Because I don't want anyone to get too overloaded and not be able to finish a house, including myself. Yeah.
Right. But that's a great question. So the first question, the budget, I guess tentatively I would say at least like 50K, probably.
For all 4 units.
Yeah, for all 4 units, because really I think, like I showed y'all, the worst of the worst is the roof. So that's got to be addressed immediately, because that water damage just gonna keep getting in there and just tearing up everything. So
for sure.
Just to patch it up, because I don't think that it need to be totally redone. So just to fix the patch up, probably about 200 or 300, a couple sheets of plywood, a few bundles of shingles. That's all it costs for that. So,
but that's just a temporary measure to keep the roof from leaking and damaging the house more, right? That's not like a new roof.
Right. Because I don't think that it needs to be, just a portion of it, and then I think that'd be good. So I say right now, I say about 50K for the total rehab. As far as like what I'm working on, I was working on Griggs and my home, so I was only working on just two other projects.
Okay.
But for something like this, I would say most like all the time and resources will probably have to go to this. It's not because of the urgency and the timelines, just because this is probably the most valuable and the most, the biggest thing. So I would think that it would deserve the most attention. But I would say probably a year, maybe. Probably a year timeline to get it, fully rehabbed.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's because on Zillow, its estimated value is 110,000, like I guess current, and its current state, which is a lot. It's probably worth many times more than that if it were fixed up and brought to code.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say it's even worth that currently. But I guess you can see where they're going. I seen other like properties similar to this go sell for like 350,000. So I would start there at fully rehab.
Okay. So when would you say, like, when you decide whether to divide your time between Griggs and your own house and this house, you'll do what's urgent? Like, for example, the roof is urgent, so you probably want to do that soon. Whereas, no one's living in Griggs' house. There's no roof leaks that I know of. And so you can probably leave that alone and move a little slower on that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So would you be willing to give up equity, like ownership, for the funds, or do you only want to take a loan? And this isn't just from us, although it could be from us. It could be, we applied together for MISHDA, which is like the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, or Detroit Community Wealth Fund. Like, they have said that they'll give loans to us if we're a co-op, which I think we're pretty close to being one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a few places online. There are a few, like, I'm having a conversation with a cryptocurrency company tomorrow that says that they want to offer loans for construction projects. And so, yeah, would you want it to only be a loan, or would you be willing to give up equity, like ownership in the house?
I would be willing to give up equity. At this point, I'd be willing to do anything that makes the most sense. It's not a situation where I want to just keep the property for myself or nothing like that. Because there's so many properties out here, bro. It's it, even like 4-family flats like this, there's so many of them. So I don't have to be greedy and like keep it to myself and nothing like that. And I think it'd make more sense to offer equity, just to make it more of an incentive for somebody else, if they interested like that. But pretty much any and everything on the table when it comes to this one, or anything that I would do like in the future. I just want to do the best thing that makes the most sense for everybody.
Yeah, well, I like that attitude. And I think with equity, the person who comes on board for a share, they might want to decide who to sell the house to or who to rent to, which I guess is my next question. Like, and I definitely, like, you're the head guy on this house. So even if other people like me or someone else gets involved, we would like defer to your judgment. So do you want to sell the house after you bring it up to code, or do you want to rent it or something else?
Well, see, for that, I would kind of want to not necessarily defer, but at least kind of talk about it with others, just to see. But I think personally, I would say at least hold on to it for some time period, whether it's a year, 2 years, maybe. Just maybe see how much cash flow you can get out of the property, and then maybe selling it probably like at a later time. Maybe like with a single family home, maybe sell it right away. But I think since, it's big multifamily, it's something like, it's just too many things you could do. So I think it's worth it to explore some of those other options before you just go ahead and rush to sell it.
Sure, that makes sense. And, it doesn't have to be a final answer. We can talk about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adrian, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense to me. I was curious, do you think, like, you think it would make sense to like work on one unit at a time and like start renting one out as the other ones are, working on the other ones, or do you just want to get them all done before like kind of renting it out?
Or I think I talked about that. I think it would probably make more sense to probably do them unit at a time, because the faster you can get it somewhat livable, I think the better for for the whole project, to be honest. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, it seems like a pretty nice property for that. Like, if you wouldn't have to disturb people too much, probably.
Right. So at least get the one unit off the ground, like you said, and then maybe work on the other 3 or 2 or, you know, something like that.
Yeah. My other question was about like the land bank arrangement. I know they have like, did you use it?
I'm not sure if y'all knew, maybe I already knew that already, but I don't. Property, it comes with, you know, certain things that you have to fulfill. So one of those things would be to get the property livable, you know, get it livable, not the entire building. I think you just need like a throne, furnace, something like that. So that's got to be done anyway. And then I think, like you just said, getting the first unit off the ground first. So that'll fulfill that, you know, obligation. But yeah, other than that, I think those are only stipulations that they said they gave us. Just, you know, kitchen, bathroom, and furnace.
So Adrian, I know you mentioned before that you didn't want to do land bank auction houses because they have a 6-month requirement that you have to bring it up to code in 6 months or they take the house back. And I think I've heard of people that happen to, I think you've heard of people that happened to as well. Is that what this house is? Like if we don't bring it up to code in 6 months, they'll take it back?
Okay, so I think me and you, we talked about that before as well. It's not 6 months. Well, it technically is 9 months. On paper, it's 9 months.
Okay.
But they haven't, like, to my knowledge, and even, you know, to the compliance officer when I spoke to him, he said as long as you showing that you're making noticeable progress, then they won't, you know, take the property back. Only time they really take the property back is if you're just not doing nothing with it at all, you know, you're just letting it sit there. Or, you know, a lot of out-of-state investors, they just buy houses and don't do anything to them. So I think that was really one of their the reasons why they came up with that. But something like this, you know, it's no games, you know, it ain't no sitting around and nothing like that. So that wouldn't be no issue, bro.
Yeah, and I guess to clarify, Paul, what I was saying, yeah, like I was wary of that just because I knew that's technically what you're signing. But I think I agree with Damien in that, like, for example, they kind of threaten you with that timeline, but at the end of the day, you really just like want to, as long as you're showing clear progress. And I think it would make sense to like document the progress too, like take pictures and go, because I know Caesar, my neighbor, he got his house from the land bank. It's still like got lots of work to be done, but they did almost take it from him at one point. But then they ended up kind of letting him off, you know, when he actually wrote a letter to support. But it seems like, yeah, like Damien said, I feel pretty confident that they have good intentions there, you know, for the most part, because that is an important thing. You know, it's really bad for Detroit to just have, you know, these investors coming in, getting a cheap property and just sitting on it until it's worth something without doing anything. So it seems like, yeah, as long as you're pretty like you're saying, showing clear progress, seems like pretty straightforward and not that risky, even if it does take longer. The other thing I heard, I know a dude who did a lot of land bank properties that, and he was saying, yeah, like kind of like you're saying, you really don't have to fix the whole place up. You just have to do like some basic things. He even like, he got away with getting full approval from land bank with like super minimal stuff. Like, yeah, just having a kitchen. He didn't even do the electric fully. He just did one outlet and ran an extension cord out to like have a light in the kitchen or something. So it's like he was able to get approved. So yeah, it seems like if you just make sure you get those core things within, that would probably be a good way to like be sure they're not going to fuck with you, is have like at least that real bare bones done in 9 months or earlier, right? And then just try to get it off your back, right? Especially before they change the rules or something and try to become more aggressive. Who knows what they'll do, but but I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's not, as long as you're like actually focused on it, making regular progress, right? I think they're going to be pretty, you know, pretty happy with what's, you know, happy that you're doing that, because I think they deal with plenty of people that don't make very good progress on places, and those are probably the people that are going after.
Right, and that was a, you know, legit concern, because I even had concerns about that, and this would be my first land bank property, because I always said that I wouldn't deal with the land bank, but certain situations come, and then you got to change your mind on certain things. So, but I think we safe. We would be safe in this situation.
Yeah, and it could be a good opportunity to develop a better relationship with them and kind of like have, try to make, I think a lot of times, right, we already know some people on the inside. So that, I don't know, had you ever met Sarah, Damien? You ever talked to her?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Paul and I Paul actually met her through, he's posted something on Reddit, I think, and she ended up coming over to my house and we had a dinner. And so that was kind of cool to kind of meet her, but she's super cool. But I imagine that will help too, is just having some connections there and like making sure like, we got our people that believe what we're doing is, legit, and
right.
that would definitely help if any issue was to arise.
Right. Yeah, and Adrian and I have been waiting for over a year, maybe a year and a half, for this property, the one across the street from his house.
Oh yeah, I have an update on that actually.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
but anyway, that's just an open land. Yeah, we were kind of looking at. We proposed kind of building these kind of tiny homes on there.
Right.
Yeah, and that one, like the house got demoed. That was kind of a crazy thing because I got video of it, but that the property on there caught fire like a little over a year ago. It was crazy. So then they finally demolished it. But now it's just an open lot. But now it's finally, so it's in the side lot program right now, and it's going to remain there until like mid-March. And so that there's one house that's eligible for it, but I'm pretty sure they're it's like a kind of a slumlord guy that seems like, I think, I know the guy who owns it rents it, and he seems like he's kind of a little bit of a slumlord type landlord. But anyway, he's back on his property taxes, so they'll probably not be able to buy it.
Right.
And it goes into the neighborhood lot program, and then hopefully, hopefully we can. Yeah, I would be eligible for it, but I did realize, Paul, when you talked about that 2 lot limit, that will kind of make it so, because I actually already had 2 lots on the neighborhood program, but they were saying we could submit a proposal and buy it kind of the same way we were pursuing before when it enters the neighborhood lot program. So I think around like mid-March, I'm actually going to clarify and see maybe we can submit a proposal again already. But anyway, I think that would be an interesting one to like submit to buy as Detroit Arcology for kind of like a construction project at some point.
Yeah, no, thanks for the update.
That was good news.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the reason why
I actually wanted to ask you about them.
Sorry, the reason why I brought it up was that like we thought, I came from the outside, like New York City, and we thought that would make it more likely that they would sell to us quickly, because you and other people have said land bank takes so long, and it's usually a bad experience. Like they say no to Detroiters, like people who've lived here their whole lives have trouble buying houses. And it seems like we're also coming from out of town. We're also getting the runaround a little bit. It's like, it's taking a long time.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask y'all about that, because I wanted to see, because I think in the PowerPoint, the address was for Sayward, right? Was that Sayward?
Steward, yeah. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, 2091 Seward. Yeah.
Right. But essentially that's what y'all want to build across the street from your house, Adrian, right?
Yeah, something of that nature, I think. Yeah.
We still have a deposit for an A-frame, like one of these vacation kind of rental houses. So we could still build that on that lot. Yeah, it's like it's already a design that's up to code, and it's a kit, and we can hire someone to build it. So it's like more straightforward than the design on Seward, which I think is more experimental. And eventually I was going to hire like a professional architect to design sort of a 3-family building on there, because I went to Missouri, I went to this maker farm, and I showed you guys pictures of all the stuff I worked on, and I'm no longer confident that it's like something that I and a friend could build in a few weeks. That's like, it's totally overblown promise. And so I'd much rather hire a professional architect for Seward, but we can still do a lot of the cool stuff that we wanted to do. Like it could be made out of compressed earth bricks. It could have solar power. It could have a better car parking situation than having 3 separate driveways. We can do a lot of cool, like innovative stuff, but it's, I'm probably more okay hiring an architect at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still a little up in there, but obviously, but definitely, I'm definitely very interested in like some kind of small house construction in this, maybe it's that lot, maybe it's another lot around here, but I like that idea is like, because eventually I'm thinking what I'll do myself is me and Diana will like probably eventually like want to live in a smaller place that's nearby and then still have access to our house here, but have this be more of like a community space and like have our own smaller house that's like has solar and, just really kind of a cool design, but small, that we would sort of live in primarily. So that's kind of the interest for me coming at that, but also to kind of prove the other interest in it is like proving that as kind of a model of sorts for like living really low cost and low impact, in terms of like really low utility costs and kind of being able to be maybe even fully off the grid, and like having kind of a cool landscape around the house. That sort of like seems like a cool project, I guess, as an alternative to rehabbing, I guess, right? Like another path to living in a way that, gives more autonomy or anyway, just kind of but I do think, it's more, obviously, I think the rehabbing existing houses in some respects, like is kind of a more,
it's more of a service to Detroit.
In Detroit, right? I don't know how I don't know. How do you feel, Damien, about like the idea of building a new structure like that
versus rehab?
I'm with y'all. I think that because I think it go both ways. I still think it helps the city because there's so many lots, it's so many vacant lots, and then at some point it's gonna be some new construction around here. So I think that could be a blueprint on how we will move forward into that phase when that time comes, because it's gonna be a rush of that coming. But I think rehabbing I think that's still good too, because a lot of these properties still need to be rehabbed. They're not gonna tear down every one. So I think it's a good mix of both. I think that'd be healthy.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I like that way of looking at it. Yeah, kind of like setting. I think there is a lot of power in that too, like setting it as a blueprint, like you're saying, to say, hey, like, look at this is something that you can actually do. It has way less impact. It's very low cost, affordable, and then that other people can be inspired, hopefully, from that and like follow that instead of just like the same, like rich developers coming in and just building stuff that's like low quality and they're just trying to make a quick buck and get out, right? And this is
right.
We want to build things that are really gonna last and create better living conditions for folks here.
Right. And I'm completely with that. I think like you said, it's not just for the big people. You could do something small. Everything don't have to be so big all the time, and it's only benefiting a few people anyway. So I think that'd be more intimate, and it'll touch more people, the people that we really trying to touch,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that all sounds good to me. And congrats again on the lot, Adrian. We should talk about that more soon. I'm excited to hear about that. But for Damien and I to focus the rest of this meeting, I feel good about this house. It is going to, so the northwestern house is not as urgent, like it doesn't have big gaping holes in the roof and people are already living in it. So it could probably, it's not ideal, but it could stay in that state. And if I were to invest in this house, the log cabin road house, it would probably like take away attention and slow down the northwestern house. And so, I want to check in with you, Adrian, because you're the other sort of primary stakeholder in whether you're okay with delaying progress on one house because we're taking on this other house. And I'm also fine if, you'd rather focus on one house, get it out the door before focusing on this one. But, I'd probably be interested in investing, maybe 10,000 and then helping raise the remaining amount, depending on if Adrian wants to put in anything or Damien wants to put in any more than he already has for the house, we can raise it from many different many other funding sources. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel pretty similarly, I would say, in terms of like, yeah. And I guess for me, probably in general, I think I'm at a point like maybe total is like, I think I have to look and see what I can like really feel comfortable in, but probably like, yeah, 10 to 20 or, total. And maybe that's across both houses or, I definitely like, yeah, I also like the idea of having the investment be spread, like looking to raise it from other places, like get a loan from, the Detroit Community Wealth Fund or something like that. But yeah, I definitely am also interested in putting in some kind of in like following your guys, like in terms of like, being in it with you guys. I like that idea. And sort of, if you guys are where, you guys are feeling, I definitely have a shared concern in that, like, I definitely wouldn't want to like get into a situation where we're like not making enough progress, we're not like finishing one thing. But I think if you guys feel good about a plan or, and we all are kind of on the same page about what we're aiming for, and it seems realistic to all of us, I'm excited to join and, be a part of it in both cases.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's good news.
Yeah, what do you think, Damien, as far as, because obviously you kind of obviously have stake in both. How are you thinking of like, are you thinking of like completely putting any kind of investment on the Northwestern property like on hold or something? Like how are you thinking of balancing the two, I guess?
So yeah, I don't want to put anything on hold. So if it was a way for us to do maybe a little bit of everything at once, instead of so we ain't just putting all our resources into one thing.
Yeah.
I think that'd probably be the best way to do it. But I'm not really sure, because I guess that's how it would work in the perfect world, but we know everything don't always go like that. So I don't know, maybe we maybe need to, well, I know the first thing I do is come up with a good budget, something solid. So we at least know exactly how much we need to put over here. And then I think after that, maybe we can kind of answer some of those questions a little bit better. But I think I like the idea of, getting funding from some other places. I think maybe if we could secure some more funding, then maybe some of those problems will already be solved.
Yeah, and I put together a house budget for Northwestern. It's very rough, and I can help put together one for this house too, just so we have a sense of it. I can go back and look at the videos and just make a guess. Right. And like, do you know if the plumbing needs to be replaced or what the electrical is like?
Yeah, so pretty much, like I said, it's gonna be like full rehab on everything: electrical, plumbing, drywall. I think when I crunched some numbers the other day, I think the most expensive thing is gonna be the drywall, because we're talking about like almost 4,000 square feet of drywall.
Sure.
So I think that's really gonna be the most expensive thing. But like I said, I'll work on that ASAP, and then I'll come with something more solid as far as the budget goes. But I think we can start just doing the material only, just as long as we get a material only budget, I think that'd be good enough. And then we can go from there, because a lot of this we're gonna try to do in-house, just to keep the budget down.
That makes sense. What do you think about the idea of like, are you thinking you want to address the budget as like, here's the budget for everything? Or like, do you think it might make sense to make like a sub budget just for one unit kind of thing? Like, because then you kind of, maybe that would make it more viable to like know for sure, hey, this is what we need to like get one unit totally done, and started to rent it out. And then we can start seeing, more resources coming in to work on other parts. I don't know, do you think that makes sense to think about it that way, or how are you thinking about it?
We could think of it like that. I mean, really, sometimes it don't matter how you slice the pie, because even if we come up with a total budget and we divide it into 4, I think that'll be like on a per unit basis. So yeah, but that worked, we could do it that way. I'ma still come up with a complete budget, just so you guys know, you know what I'm saying, just so y'all will know, and y'all will know exactly what we getting into.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, just divided by 4, especially if it's just materials, right? That's pretty, divided by 4 would be a rough number for one unit.
Right, yeah. And that's why I wanted to start with just material only, and then we can kind of go from there. So just like you said, like a sub budget, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that could be more like, maybe that would help with getting like funding, is like making it be like, hey, we already got over 50% of the money we need locked down for this first unit, can you give us the rest to like make it
right?
And it's this,
Right, and then we can go ahead and pay them back, and we got profit coming in, so we can make good on our promises and everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that will help our overall cause a lot. Yeah, it's definitely just getting to a point where we can get all the way to like legit, like, hey, this is now rented, it's up to code, it's pulling in money, that would definitely like give us a lot of good credibility, I think, for future investment.
I 100% agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I'm in favor of more of a total budget for the house, because there are things like, I don't know if that is a boiler or a hot water tank, or there are going to be things that are shared between all the units for the house, and so I prefer to think of the whole house budget. If we raise money per unit, then they become like condos, and I think that's a little more complicated. It is nice to see progress. Like, it's nice to finish one unit before moving on to the next. I don't know if that's how we'll present it to lenders, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they'll like one more than the other. So I'm open to seeing which one works. I do want to think about risks though. Like, I don't think they'll happen. I mean, I totally believe in Damien's hustle, and I feel good about the work that I've seen done. But then, if we think what could go wrong, just both sides of the equation, one is that maybe to bring it up to code, we go over budget. So when we write a contract, sort of what should we do in the case where we go over the 50K, for example? And then I guess another risk is like, what if we never finish the house? And I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but let's say at Northwestern, at some point, maybe if we take too long to finish the house, one or more of us could just say, well, we should just sell it the way it is, and divide up and cash out. So that's not the best outcome, but it's definitely something like a backup to think about in case we can't finish the houses. So those are just two things I want to bring up and hear what you guys think about.
Okay. So that's a legit concern as well. I think in the event that we can't finish it, well, honestly, I think that'd be like the worst case scenario. That'd be ground zero, definitely, because before they even deed the property fully and they release their interest, I guess it's got to be fixed up some type of way. So we would basically lose everything in that event. And then what was the other scenario you said?
What if we go over budget? Like, we can do it on time, but like, what if it goes over $50,000? What would be the fair thing to do? Like, let's say each of us put in 50,000 divided by 3, and then it goes over 50,000. What should we do in that case?
Okay, so if it goes over budget, the next best thing I would say is we need to try to find some more funding. I guess in the event that we can't do that, really, I don't know. I guess that would be kind of a worst case scenario as well. But I guess it'd be important to like really get the budget. Like, we have to nail the budget right on the money. It's gonna be, the budget got to be accurate, super accurate, so that don't happen.
Or we can build in a buffer too. Like, we could raise a little more than we think we need, and probably we can give the money back early if we don't need it.
Right, and then that was why that's the reason why I believe that it would be beneficial for us to at least get one unit operable, and then we can start making some money. you know, and then maybe that'll kind of alleviate that problem if that was to ever arise. I'm not sure. I don't know what the lenders look for. So I don't know if that's gonna make them more happy or, you know, but I don't think it can't hurt. You know, it shouldn't hurt if we did get one operable, and, you know, that shouldn't hurt. So
yeah. And then I don't think it's, you know, it's the worst case. I don't think we would ever just not be able to finish the house, but it could be that we can't finish it in 9 months or
Right.
a year. And but you know, from the land bank, it sounds like they are soft, like they'll cut us some slack if they can tell that we're making progress.
right.
And I guess, am I correct in saying that this house would be a priority, or is a priority now for you? Because if you know, if we don't patch up the roof and get the bathrooms working in for the land bank to see progress, then like the investment is at risk. So this really is more important than Northwestern, because that's not in risk of us not making enough progress. Like
Right.
no one cares if we don't make progress in Northwestern except us. Like we're kind of disappointed, but it's not the land bank cares if we make progress on Northwestern, but they care if we make progress on this house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right. You're absolutely right about that. I didn't want to like create no situation where we would have to like pick and choose something like that. But I mean, you know, that it may come down to that. But hopefully hopefully it don't. You know, I would want it to be to where we can, you know, adequately finish all our projects and do it, you know, on time and on budget as well. Yeah, but I like we said before, I don't think that's gonna be, as far as the timeline. That's why I just say a year. Are y'all confident that we could finish the whole building in a year or somewhere around a year?
I don't know. Yeah, because I've never done a project this big before.
Right.
I don't even know if I can finish Northwestern in a year. I hope that too. But and I don't think we have to pick and choose. Like I'm basically okay with making no progress in Northwestern until I get back in May, just because I think, you know, up front I said I was going to be away for the winter. And so during that time, if you focus only on this house or Grig's house, you know, I think that's fine. That's not really picking and choosing. And then, you know, when I get back, I'll do everything. That'll be my priorities to finish that house before next winter.
Right.
As well. And yeah. So I'm not really worried that the worst case will happen. I just wanted to bring it up. And then, you know, when we have a contract, be able to sort of specify what happens in those cases, even though we'll do everything we can to make sure we don't get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I understand. Yeah, I completely understand that. Got a plan for the worst.
Yeah, one thing I think that would maybe be useful in addition to like a budget for materials would be, Damien, like like based on, you know, you I think have the most experience in terms of just like how much labor different things take, I think, you know, and based on your experience, you know, I have some experience of my own, but I think you have a lot more than Paul and I for like doing this kind of all the different things, right? So I was thinking it might be useful to have like a budget of labor. That would be, maybe you would start that as like based on you doing everything, like how many days or hours would each piece of work take, you know, if in just kind of, I think that would be valuable to like help us get our minds wrapped around whether we think it's realistic in whatever timeline. And then also maybe thinking about having other people involved to help with the labor and things like that. Because yeah, I mean, I definitely won't have like crazy amount of time for like just all labor. I definitely am interested in putting in some time, but I think in a lot of ways, one thing I can help with is, you know, on the, you know, funding side, like coordination, you know, trying to get other people, you know, sort of like, you know, but yeah. And anyway, so that, yeah, as far as like, I feel like that could be just helpful for like planning, right? And just, you know, getting, yeah. And also making this repeatable and giving other people confidence too, and that we can get it done in whatever time frame. Does that seem like something you would be able to estimate? You feel like you would be able to estimate somewhat, like roughly well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Cool.
Definitely. I guess that would be a part of another sub budget as well. Just the man hours, you know, if I'm understanding it right. Yeah, just the man hours and how much, you know, roughly how much time it would take. you know. So yeah, we could do that as well.
And are you imagining that would be kind of how it would work? Is like, it would be like the investment money is, the budget's all going to materials, and then all the actual labor would be like people that are like, people that are directly involved and maybe have an ownership stake based on their man hours. Is that kind of how you're envisioning it?
We can, that can be discussed. I think that would be a good idea. Because I guess it would give, more incentives. So yeah, we could do it like that. But I mean, to me, I just want to do whatever the best, just do it the best way we can.
Yeah.
So if that's, if y'all interested in that, then we can, discuss that some more.
Yeah, I would be careful offering equity in terms of labor, just because we are trying to do that on Northwestern, and I think it's hard to set people's expectations. And Damien, I know like you and your brothers work on the Griggs house, and you don't have to say, but I'm curious sort of like how you divide up, like whether you pay them what you think that's fair, or whether you offer them a share of the house as well, because sometimes it's easier just to pay a subcontractor, a fair price for the labor, and it's more money, but you then they don't have this expectation that they own a share of the house afterwards. I'm not against that. I just know that unless you know someone well, there's some chance that there might be hard feelings in the future. So
right. I understand that part. The reason why, I'm assuming y'all brought that up is because that's what we're doing on Northwestern.
Yeah.
I think maybe if we was to go that route, we just probably need to communicate the best way we can, so it's no surprises and everybody know what they're getting into. We don't necessarily have to give out equity in exchange for labor, but we can probably find another way to make it more worthwhile for the other people, and then maybe for people that's a part of our organization, maybe we can offer them equity. But as far as like just other, subcontractors and something like that, we don't have to offer them no equity at all. We just pay them what they feel like it's worth. If we agree to it, then we move forward. If not, we just find somebody else.
Yeah, I'm not against offering equity. It's just that, there's a chance that they won't do the work, or they won't do the work up to the same standard. And so you have to take into account that as well. And then also it's rare to find a contractor who is willing to accept equity. So I guess It's a combination of finding someone who you trust to do the work and they're willing to accept equity. And if we do find someone like that, that would be great. I would be in favor.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point so let's just assume that we're not going to find nobody who's seeking equity, and maybe they just want to just be paid in, cash.
Yeah.
I think 9 times out of 10, that's probably the situation that we're going to be in.
Yeah. So the $50,000 roughly that you quoted us, is that only for materials, or does that include labor? Like we're paying contractors in cash?
I would say that's like a complete budget. Now for just material, like I stated before, I think the biggest thing on the material list is the drywall. And I think we need about like 80 sheets per unit. So 80 times 4, what is that, like 240? So we need about like 240 sheets of drywall. And then everything else kind of just below that. So as far as the material budget, it shouldn't be nowhere near 50K. It shouldn't be nowhere near 50K. I just said that just putting in the labor and all that part to go in there as well.
Sure. And I can help estimate as well. Like if I know the square footage of each unit, and I can kind of estimate from like Google Maps and the listing on Zillow as well.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah. So I would say out of that 50K, just roughly, we can dedicate half of it to materials, just roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel good about, details to be discussed, but putting in 10,000 for me, and then looking for other funding sources, primarily from this decentralized finance project called Rigor, which I'm going to be talking to tomorrow to see what information they need from a house or from us to sort of like lend to us. And then Adrian, do you mind reaching out to Detroit Community Wealth Fund to see what they would require from us to loan to us, and like for how much, and things like that as well?
Sure. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
see you guys. I guess I can email them and kind of CC you guys on that too.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, we have contact Margot, and I think Rosie are the two.
Yeah, I'll just hit up Margot, I think. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, because she knows about our project already.
Yeah, we met. Yeah. Did you meet her, Damien, or not? No, you hadn't met her yet, probably.
Nope, I don't think so. No.
Well, yeah, I think Paul had a call with her a while back. She runs the wealth fund.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So, like, these lenders, like, none of these are like hard money lenders or nothing like that.
Well, they're experimental and that they're more open to community projects. Like Margot with Community Wealth Fund, they specifically want to lend to cooperatives to make Detroit better. So they're an activist group, and they're not doing it to make money, although they'll probably ask for some kind of return.
Right. I think, well, no, they said they do 0 interest loans as long as the loan is going to a worker owned co-op. So we probably have to be officially, they have to like see official documents and make sure it's all like, in line with their mission and such. But it sounds like she was saying 0. That's kind of their main thing, is just 0 interest loans. But then there'd be terms on when you have to pay it back. And I'm sure there's like something, maybe if you keep the money too long, they might start charging interest or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they may want like collateral, which, that would be a good question to ask them, what the interest rate is, and then also how much, because it could be they want to give us a 0% loan, but it's
only up to a certain amount
for 5,000 instead of,
I think if I remember correctly, a lot of their loans are in the $10,000 range. They're not like huge loans, but they're probably in a range that would make them interesting for us for sure. But I think I think I do vaguely remember that. At least I know of one situation where they gave like a $10,000 loan. Right.
Yeah, 10,000 would be interesting to me. And that seems like a substantial part of the amount we need.
Yeah, that's about 1/5.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 1/5 of what we need so far. So yeah, that would help a lot.
And then, I would be okay with a much simpler contract overall, and then, making an LLC just for this house and opening a bank account. And, it could be the LLC has to be registered as a cooperative corporation under Michigan law, like you said, Adrian. But then, opening a bank account just for this house. And then, the money that we invest, putting it into there. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, definitely. So like my opinion on that is I think that's pretty much the only way to go. That was my plans regardless, to put something like this will definitely need its own LLC and everything. So I'm on board with that.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, have we heard anything back from the DJC, the Detroit Justice Center? Like, are we still waiting to hear back from? Are they like working on our stuff right now, or?
My feeling is that they don't know where to start. Like, we've given them materials, and I think it's way too complicated for what they want to handle. And so that's why another reason why I want to simplify the contracts, because I think before, I was wanting to have a ground lease, like sell the house, but then us hold on to the land. And that would be nice in the future, but I think it's too different from what the current system is. There are too many unanswered questions, like, people want to get a mortgage. What mortgage company is going to go along with this ground lease? It would be, it's nice in the future, but I don't want to like slow down progress on these houses just to get that. So if we give them a much simpler contract, and the stuff that we talked about in this meeting, like how much money to put in, what happens if we go over budget, what happens if we take too long, if we can't pay back the lenders, of the 3 of us, what should we do? Like, the simplest thing is that like all 3 of us like pay back the lenders. We're basically buying out the other lenders in case we can't pay them back from the house. So that's a risk that we're taking on. So as long as we decide all of that in an operating agreement and send it to DJC, then I think they'll probably move more quickly. I think they're slow now because what we've given them is a little complicated. But I haven't heard back. I haven't heard back from them. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to like follow up with them, I guess, and just to maybe give them an update on things? Or I don't know. What do you? I mean, let me know if I can help with that too. But yeah.
Yeah. So I'll list the things that I want to do. So I will.
Yeah, I got to come over and check it out sometime for in person. That'd be fun to go up there. I haven't been up there in a little while.
Up where?
The where the house is at. Log cabin. It's funny.
Yeah.
I never knew about there was a log cabin road in Detroit. That's a funny. It's kind of funny when I first saw that. I was like, wait a minute, log cabin. You buy a cabin or something like up north?
Yeah, no, yeah, it'd be interesting. It's actually a decent neighborhood. I think.
Yeah, I get good.
Like this block is not all of that, but then when you go kind of west from where we at, man, it's like really, really nice, and it's kind of a nicer part of the city. So.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, it's super nice to be right back Palmer Park like that, especially. That's cool. You said was it your friend or your relative that lived up right in that area?
Yeah, my brother Kyle. Yeah, he grew
your
up.
Brother.
Yeah, yep. He lived like a few houses down from here. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of brothers. How many brothers do you have, or brothers and sisters?
I got three brothers.
Okay, 3 brothers. Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought you had like 5 brothers or something.
No, I got 3. It's 4 of us.
Kyle is Slim, and then you have Snatch, and then you have Ya, right?
Yeah. And then and there's one other one. He not my biological brother, but he family.
Yeah.
That's Blue. I don't think you never met Blue.
No, not yet. But as long as you treat him like family, that's the important, emotional bond.
Yeah.
Well, I want to respect everyone's time. This has been a pretty productive meeting. We got to talk about everything that I wanted to talk about. And I wrote up some action items, which I'll post in the forum. And then I also, this is being recorded, so I'll post the recording as well. Is there anything else that people want to talk about before we sign off?
Got everything for now.
I think that was everything. Yep.
Plenty more to talk about, I'm sure, in the future. But yeah, I think we got. Yeah. I'm feeling good about this. I'm excited about this project.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we can schedule another time for more, but otherwise, keep in touch, guys, and take care. Yeah, get some natural light in there, Paul. You need to put some windows in there. Yeah, no, for sure. I gotta cut some windows. It'll be lighter the next time I call, for sure. I'm kind of curious to see your land out there too. Yeah, you should post a picture or something or next time. I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll post a few. Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys. All right. Well, yeah. See you guys later.
All right. Yep. Take care, guys.